Sometimes I talk about my infernal fear of shitting my own pants.
Sometimes I talk about fighting games.
I would say you talk about fighting games more often than I talk about the fear of shitting my own pants.
I would challenge that. I would challenge that with smart money. um, and sometimes we talk about the news, like this. Actually, so this was fun. I really want to talk about this story. Um, they revealed, and I think we might have touched on Dragon Ball: The Breakers,
Yeah.
and I saw it,
Dragon Ball by Daylight.
and I was looking at it, and I was like, yeah, like some of this seems kind of silly. And like, what the fuck? You're gonna pull a gun out to defeat Cell or whatever? All that, and I was looking at, I'm like, okay, this is so weird. What are you going for here, right? And then I had a thought, and it was honestly like I had a bit of a change of heart in a way, and it was this: like a Dragon Ball game where it's asymmetrical, admittedly, Dead by Daylight and such have proven the path and established a genre that you can then follow your IP in the steps of. So it's not completely novel. But I realized that, a game where you're like, what if there was a super strong villain and you had to like get away from them in the Dragon Ball world on foot is the kind of thing I would muse about randomly in a conversation, going like, what would be an interesting thing that we haven't seen already in Dragon Ball or in whatever franchise that we know, where we get the same shit over and over and over again?
I mean this unironically and without cynicism. This is probably the most interesting Dragon Ball game to ever be revealed.
So I honestly, I had to pump the brakes on my own brain and take, because I was like, this is literally what I would go, why don't they try something like that? And I have also talked about, like, I'd like more acknowledgement of old original classic Dragon Ball. Oolong there is definitely that, as well as Young Bulma. But yeah, I had to like just go, stop the cynical take for a second. Hold on. Experimenting and trying shit out with a franchise that we know they can just make another Xenoverse out of is what I would like to see.
Boy, could they.
And even to like, even when it's as poorly executed as that JoJo Battle Royale game, where it's like, man, you could have done so many more interesting things with the idea of stand battles than what you chose to go for here. But you picked a genre that was getting popular and you went, let's just throw our shit into that. This is ostensibly doing the same thing, but like watching the breakdown on the mechanics and how it's going down, it's more interesting than anything else.
Yep. 100%.
They've been putting out. And one of the things I was wondering was, like, instead of a gun, why don't you just like call in a hero that's a main character that can fight? And it's like, yeah, so you can't do that, but you can sort of become them using a limited power up. So
just a second.
You can do a thing that makes you buff up for a bit and fight for a minute, and if you level it all the way to the maximum, you completely become a ghost or a mimic of that character, and you fight as Goku or as Vegeta.
And the level 4 version is the you become a Goku for like 1 minute.
Yeah. So that's my thing, is I'm like, this is an interesting idea, and I actually want to say, like, more of this type of thing. We'll see how it plays. Let's see if it's good. I don't know, like, what the standard it would have to reach is in terms of balance compared to, say, Dead by Daylight. But
that shouldn't be too hard.
But the breakdown of how it works was it looked like there's a lot of ways to escape, individually or by potentially working together, and it seems as if the villain is going to have the ability to kind of just destroy parts of the entire map, which I don't think is a thing in like those asymmetrical things or in Friday the 13th.
Yeah, the overall scale of this game is much larger than its contemporaries.
Mm.
It's a much
Like you're
wider area because you're dealing with characters that have just crazy movement.
Yeah, so it feels like what they're doing is putting an asymmetrical Dead by Daylight type game on a map that's battle royale esque, and
Hmm.
instead of a shrinking wall, it's the character, the boss, destroying zones so that
You
you
know
can
what?
no
You're totally
longer
right. That's
stand there.
absolutely what that is.
Yeah, and they can't they can't constantly destroy areas, but they reduce the map until it's eventually down to, like, the smallest place if you can survive it, and then by that point you should have gotten together the time traveling ships to escape, or whatever you have to do to get off the
Or
planet.
somebody has the ability to Goku it up for a minute or what have
Yeah.
you.
So just on a design level, I'm like, yeah, this is interesting. And then if what we see in terms of the characters, items, and gameplay um, continues to, like, homage and reference shit that's, from the Red Ribbon Army era, or, again, the Oolong, the Young Bulma, the little
Hmm.
Capsule Corp shit that you see all in the pre Dragon Ball Z stuff. I'm like, yeah, let's see this. I hope this is legitimately fun and good. I hope that the other villains that they implement are, like, interestingly implemented into this level up system, because
Like Cell is obviously the poster child for that. I mean, he's
because it makes
perfect.
perfect sense. Grab you, eat you, power up, right? He starts weak, he gets stronger. He's got a lot of forms to go through. Frieza going to final Frieza form because he got a kill on a rando doesn't quite make as much sense, but I'm sure they're still going to be able to implement him, and Boo and the various types and such. So I want to see how that works as well.
I
And
hope
then,
we
of
get some
course,
of the villains that are not just the main
the
three.
main
They're
three.
like some of the losers.
I mean, how cool or interesting would it be if one of them was just like an Uzaru?
Yeah, why not?
You're just a rampaging fucking monkey, and you do all the attacks, and you blow up the map, and you do all the things. But, like, you have room for that to be something viable in this game.
What
Um,
if the final character you can unlock on the Raider side, I think they're called, is Goku and Piccolo on their driving test?
on their cars with
Yeah,
the yeah, with the hat
and
backwards.
they're
God damn,
just they're
dude.
just like driving around going, "Oh no!" while they crash into the player characters.
With panicked on their faces. Yeah. Um, you could take Nappa or Raditz and make them viable
Yeah, totally,
threats.
100%.
Raditz can be a real villain with actual, like, time, and he can be a threat because you're fighting against fucking normal people. You
Yeah.
know, um, it it,
I'm a
it
bit
is
disappointed that we have Oolong and Bulma and 6 other fucking whoever's.
yeah, but my hope, fingers crossed, is that you're gonna have, like, a bunch of NPCs and then occasional recognizable NPCs.
Hmm.
You know, it could have been all background characters from the actual
Yeah.
lore, but maybe there's a like a customization aspect or something like that. But totally, like, little fucking normal humans doing their best to escape seems fun. Seems like a cool idea.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So yeah, that's it. I'm 180ing my initial, like, dubiousness on this, because it's the exact kind of creative risk I'd like to see taken, especially with a brand where we've already done every other version of every other kind of game, and
Like
also
DBZ is like games are the most creatively bankrupt licensed games.
exactly. And I think that if this delivers exactly what we see from the breakdown of the mechanics, this will hold the record for being the Dragon Ball game with the least amount of Goku in it
Yes.
of all time.
Like, as an example, the last game that was the most interesting Dragon Ball game was the one where they took the normal Dragon Ball game and said, "What if we had the camera on the side and it was good?" And that was Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah. Like, I like an actual game where you are allowed to see Goku for 1 minute tops, and then he's gone forever, is an exciting prospect, you know? Seeing as we just got Kakarot. So that's cool. That's cool. Check out the mechanics breakdown to see some of the ways that they're planning to do this. But sure, let's have fun with the world of Dragon Ball.
What a crazy idea!